Hello to everyone. This is Viewpoint on noyantapan and I am Benyamin Poghosyan, Senior Research Fellow at Armenia. Today we will speak about April 5 meeting in Brussels, where Prime Minister of Armenia, Nikol Pashinyan, met with Secretary of State of the United States, Antony Blinken, as well as leadership of the European Union. Both before the April 5 meeting and also after the April 5 meeting, there is no lack of discussions, comments and assessments. What was the meeting? What happened there? Was the success of Armenia? Should Armenia be disappointed? And what is going to happen next? First of all, let's fix that before the meeting, there was a really significant hype in Armenia. A lot of people, experts, politicians, pundits, and from different political views, starting from pro-government ones and ending with oppositional ones, were telling that something very significant is going to happen in Brussels, that the Brussels meeting will be like even more important than, I don't know, like 2020 November 10 trilateral statement, or even going back, like it will be something like what happened in 1919, the Paris Peace Conference after the end of the First World War. So there was a real hype. And while pro-government people were telling that, okay, this will be the real first tangible step of Armenia going to the European family, to the European civilization, that Armenia is trying to rectify the mistake which it did in 2013 when Armenia rejected to sign the negotiated association agreement and decided to enter the customs union and then Eurasian Economic Union, while the opposition ones were telling that this is another tangible and very important step for Armenia's pivot from Russia to the West, and this will have catastrophic implications for Armenia, because this is the first step of Armenia transforming Armenia into next Ukraine, that Armenian government is taking the path of transforming it to the Ukraine, and were different assessments that, okay, what government is doing is very much like either what Viktor Yushchenko was doing after the Orange Revolution in Ukraine in 2004, or what Mr. Poroshenko was doing when he was a president of Ukraine after 2014 Euromaidan, or was Mr. Zelensky was doing immediately after his election as a president in 2019. So, from different sources, there were different assessments for the implications, like very positive implications. Armenia is returning to the civilization's world, to the world of civilization. Armenia is coming back to its roots, to its European roots, up to very negative assessments that Armenia is walking to become a next Ukraine, and this will be catastrophe for Armenia, that Armenia already passed through very terrible time, 2020, 2023, losing in turn Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, ethnic cleansing of Armenians, but this will not stop here, and most probably Armenia may lose additional territories, Syunik, Vyodor, etc. So again, there was a much hype, and when we saw what happened in Brussels, at least as the public part, because definitely we don't know what happened behind the closed door, but even what is happening behind the closed door, somehow there are some echoes which are going and which are being presented into some European international media. So at the end of the day, it appeared that what happened in Brussels was simply the European Union and the United States readiness to support Armenia based on Armenia's request to diversify Armenia's economy and in general support Armenia in different reforms agenda implemented by Armenia, public sector reforms, other reforms, and nothing more. So many people now are trying to understand, okay, but this is a success, this is a disappointment, but I believe the key problem was that this huge hype which was created before the April 5 meeting, this was artificial. Of course, we can discuss why this was created. Probably pro-government people, pro-government sources, they are desperate to send some positive messages to the population, to share some positive news, or at least to give some positive perspective, because at least in the foreign and defense policy realm, for last 4 years, Armenia is being constantly humiliated, terrible losses. Definitely, government and circles around the government are interested to share some positive news, to tell the people that yes, for the last 4 years you suffered, you have been humiliated, it was a constant horror, but finally some good news is coming. Finally we are coming close to the European Union, visa-free regime will be established very soon. European money will come into Armenia, and very soon, within several years even, or at least until 2030, Armenia will become a member of the European Union, and you will live like average Polish people or France people with thousands of euros of salaries, pensions, etc., etc. From like opposition sides, probably this artificial hype was created to warn populations that any attempt to pivot from Russia to the West in the context of the ongoing Russia-West war will have catastrophic implications for Armenia, and society should stop the government. Yes, no one is against diversification. Everyone understands that security architecture in South Caucasus has been changed, so Armenian foreign defense policy also should change, but let's not mix diversification with decoupling, with pivot, or transforming Armenia into another battlefield of the Russia-West warfare. At the end of the day, as many people are mentioning, okay, in the last 2 years, Ukraine lost approximately 100,000 square kilometers of territory. 8 million people left Ukraine as refugees. No one knows the real number of casualties, but definitely hundreds of thousands of people have been killed and wounded. But Ukraine, as a country, may afford all these. At least still now, according to different estimates, approximately some 24 million people still live in Ukraine, and the Ukraine's territory, controlled by current Ukrainian government, is more than 400,000 square kilometers, while definitely Armenia cannot afford all of this. But in any case, regardless of the reasons why different sources and different people were pushing hype, the reality is that simply Armenia applied to the European Union and to the United States, telling that I need more help, I want to diversify my economy, I want to do ABC, and also the European Union and the United States are happy to do that. Yes, definitely there is a geopolitical component here, because definitely, first of all, the United States will be happy to see less Russia in the South Caucasus, it's obvious. To see more isolated Iran in South Caucasus, also it's obvious. But again, to tell that, okay, the April 5 meeting or something like geopolitical gathering, the start of the process of kicking out Russia from South Caucasus or pulling Armenia away from Russian orbit, it's too much exaggeration. In reality, European Union sent a message to Armenia, okay, if you would like more reforms, okay, no problem, let's first concentrate on SEPA. Let's not forget that SEPA was signed in 2017, came into full force in March 2021, so 3 years we have SEPA, and SEPA envisaged a lot of reforms in different areas. 16 areas have been identified in SEPA, and so yes, if Armenia would like to accelerate SEPA reform, the European Union is ready to help. If Armenia would like to have more resilient economy, European Union is ready for help. The same is for the United States. But again, the April 5 meeting was one of the many meetings which took place before, will take place after. At the end of the day, let's not forget that even before 2018, like high-level European officials and NATO Secretary Generals were visiting Armenia. Armenia even hosted a NATO military drills in 2004, when arguably Armenia was probably most pro-Russian in its post-1991 history. And also there were different meetings between European leadership and Armenia, both before 2018, after 2018, and definitely more meetings will come. But the whole story behind these April 5 meetings tells us one truth. It's not a good thing or positive thing to make hypes regarding any meetings and to create wrong expectations among population. Of course, maybe from pure political point of view or domestic political point of view, some may argue that no, from political point of view, this is a very right thing to create false expectations. But if we are speaking about Armenia as a state and Armenians whole as a nation, definitely the whole story behind this April 5 meeting sends a very clear message. Do not create hypes, do not create exaggerated expectations. This is bad for Armenia as a state, and this is bad for Armenia as a nation. This is all for this time, and we will meet soon.